How, or is it even possible to gamify safety? Our guest this week, James Kell, comes all the way from Australia, and he's the co-founder of Scratchie, a company that gamifies the safety experience. So how can we change the culture of your company to make it a more rewarding experience for truck drivers? Join us. That's next on the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast.
Welcome to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast.
James, welcome to the show. Can you please take a
Thanks,
second
Chris.
or two to introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name's James Kell. I come from Australia. I started out as a carpenter and I co-founded a technology company a few years ago to bring more joy to safety, to actually encourage safety and performance at work. And so it's called Scratchie, and that's what I've founded, and that's what I do.
That's perfect. How did a carpenter come up with an idea to, I'll say, gamify safety?
Yeah. What I noticed in construction safety in Australia, it's very compliance based. And when I started my apprenticeship, there wasn't a lot of safety, to be honest. I mean, there was practical safety, you'd look at, but there was none of that, the regulations and what I saw when the more regulations and compliance and punishment that goes with that for not doing that, the whatever's required, the more that happened, the less enjoyable work became. And so I ended up running the company, the construction company, and I was talking to the safety manager, and we were mulling over this, and we said, well, isn't there a way to, rather than punish for a lack of safety, to reward for a presence of safety? So,
What an idea.
Right? And it
works.
Yeah, that's right. And so just to balance it out a bit, not to be against the compliance regime, but just to balance it out. So, the workers who did things well, instead of just being ignored, which is what happens in the current regime, in the compliance regime, instead of just being ignored, they get a pat on the back, they get the recognition, and then they might even win a small award. And they go, cool, awesome, finally, I'm being actually recognized for doing the right thing. And so that happened in construction safety, and then it's spread from there. So we've gone to, trucking and logistics with our Geotab partnership, but also McDonald's for the quick serve restaurants. So they reward their crews. And so it's much bigger than just safety, actually, and it's much bigger than construction. It's what motivates us people is encouragement, recognition.
Well, often a pat on the back goes a lot further than a kick in the ass.
Totally. And there's a need for both, isn't there? Like, yes, every now and then you need a kick up the butt, but it shouldn't be the only tool. Probably the biggest tool should be encouragement. And then every now and then, kick up the butt. Did that wrong. Fine. We get that, but it needs balance.
This fits right into one of the pet peeves that I have. If in trucking and in most trucking companies, when a driver gets told, go see safety, it's usually, what did I do now?
Totally.
And so you with Scratchie can turn this around.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, when this trucking company asked us to join, to do what we do, asked to become an account, they were a big trucking company in Australia called Toll. And so Gary and I both come from construction. We're both from the trade. And so we both know the importance of talking to the people who actually do the work, right? We say we're hard hats or hairnets. And so I'd never been on a shift in a truck. So I said to Gary, same thing. We were like, can we go on a shift? And they were like, what do you want to do that for? And we're like, well, we just don't really understand the industry. And we know there's much more to it than we realize. So anyway, long story short, we sat in for a shift, and it was great. Good conversations. You always pick up so much stuff just having those combos. But one of the things was this guy said is because in Australia at the moment they're saying, and it's safety worldwide, the more you report near misses actually is a sign of a healthy safety culture, right? So instead of pushing them under the carpet, actually report them. And so they started to reward the reporting of near misses. And I said, how's that going? That's encouragement, right? And he said, well, the thing is, if you want a near miss, I can give you a near miss, right? He said, but even better is that I don't give you a near miss, actually. So he said, the moment, if I do everything right, I get nothing. And so that was that conversation, so it was easy to integrate in that sense. And
Which is a great point. I mean,
Yeah.
with telematics nowadays, the near misses are usually caught on video camera.
That's right. And yep, sure, let's talk about them. Let's learn from them. Let's even celebrate them in a strange way. Thank the Lord that we didn't turn into something, fine. But best of all is the driver that you never hear from, because he or she is nice and quiet. They get everything done, and they're the people that need to be rewarded.
Yeah. Just to wrap up that near miss part, I think a driver should be rewarded if they had great following distance and now a car comes in, cuts them off, hits the brakes, and the driver does a wonderful job of avoiding the crash, which would have been their fault, but the driver avoided the crash. So I think that too should be rewarded. But
100%.
You're absolutely right. If the driver never puts themselves into that negative position, they really need to be rewarded.
That's it. Yeah, that's right. So both those instances, they're really good reason to say to the driver, well done, But that second instance you mentioned, because there's no measures on that, they tend to, just get forgotten about.
Yeah. Is he lucky or is he good?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Now, Geotab, so we're integrating with Geotab, and this, I might be going a bit fast for this, but the Geotab telematics is absolutely amazing. And in fact, Geotab, I believe, is the leader in the market, but there's some other companies there that do similar amount of telematics. So basically the telematics available nowadays is incredible, and we can use that. So we can integrate with those telematics systems and have all that sort of stuff automated.
Yeah. And that I really think this is the way that the world is moving. Gamification is one of the words that I hear tossed around a lot nowadays.
Yep.
I think Scratchie integrates with telematics, and it kind of gamifies the job of driving.
Definitely. Yeah, it does. I mean, we all have, I've got my my Whoop watch or Fitbit or Apple Watch, or there's so many examples of gamification in our life today. And you could even say, for probably not a great thing, but the whole Instagram, like that's actually gamification. That's a game as well. It's all this sources of dopamine. The thing about these sorts of Fitbit or Whoop watches is that they're gamifying something that we should do more of, exercise. And that's the thing about gamifying, whether it's safety or in McDonald's, it would be customer service and cleanliness. And some of those things that need to be done, but they're kind of mundane. They're not something that you're intrinsically motivated to do for the most part. And so that's why a bit of gamification to celebrate, to sort of, it props up the motive really to make you want to do it.
Yeah, and can you talk about Scratchie and how it integrates right now with Geotab? But what tools does it give the company now that they didn't have?
Yeah. So we're in the early stages of the integration now, but Geotab provides their clients with a huge amount of data points, as you would be aware, and in line with the prevailing kind of orthodoxy, most of it is about where the risk is and where the problems are, and that's really important. Of course, you want to know that. What's the collision risk? And the riskiest people need to be looked at and need to be worked on, coached, and everything else. Fine. What we've done is inverted that table. So we've said, okay, it's great to know all those things. Let's switch it around and let's find out who's the least risky. They're at the top of the table. Click a button and they get sent a Scratchie. So what the driver sees at the end of their shift is a notification, and it's like, you've just been nominated for a Scratchie. Now, there's a lot of psychology. I've had to get into psychology on this because it's actually bigger than the technology. And there's these two guys called DC and Ryan. And DC and Ryan created this whole body, really, called self-determination theory. And basically what it is what motivates us, right? And they've said, and they've got, in fact, I'll just show you one second. So they've got this thing here. It's like 650 pages. I'm working my way through it. And really, it could be summed up into saying there's three things we need. We need to have a sense of autonomy. We need to feel competent, and we need to be relating to people. If we feel as though we're in charge of our decisions and our domain, if we feel good at what we're doing, and if we feel like we're relating to other people well, then psychologically we are growing. We're like a plant that's full of water and nutrients and that sort of stuff. And so when it comes to work, especially with regards to safety and that sort of stuff, there's no autonomy. You get told what to do. You're only pointed out when you're not competent, right? And it sets up this disconnect between the supervisor and the manager because they're always busting you. And it's exactly what you said before. When they're told to see safety, they go, oh God, what have I done? Right? Okay. So there's this no relatedness between the three. So what we do is we bring self-determination theory to the workplace. So that's the theory part in the middle. What it looks like is the driver gets to the end of his shift and it's ping, you've got a Scratchie, you've been nominated for a Scratchie. He goes, ooh. And that little, something here, that there's a bit of anticipation. This is all part of the gamification. So we don't just say immediately everything. You've got to reveal it over time, because it's like you want to count down. You want to know, what is it? That's all part of, it's all the dopamine and the serotonin and all that sort of stuff is coursing through your veins as you go, I've just been nominated, right? And so then he presses the button and there's a countdown, 5, 4, again, 2, 1. And then it goes, you've just won. It's usually $10, $20 or $50 or something like that. It can be just points actually, but it's a whole another discussion. We find that small cash rewards are really kind of true. And then, so firstly, there's the recognition. Most importantly, there's a recognition that his boss has decided to award him. That's actually the most important thing, right? So that's the competence, right? The autonomy was because he made the decision to do the right behavior, right? He wasn't, yeah, sure, there's rules and everything, but this driver did it right. So he had the autonomy. He made that decision himself to do it right. Competence, obviously, is being celebrated. Relatedness, what that does between the supervisor and the worker is amazing. All of a sudden, when when you're a worker and you know that your boss knows that you're good,
Yeah.
then it's a great feeling, right?
Yeah.
So that's what this is all about.
So is this a manual process? Is it an automated process when you say the driver was nominated for a Scratchie?
Yeah.
Or is it both?
It's both. It's a really good question, and it's been very well considered. It needs to be the supervisor saying, Joe has done great. I'm going to nominate him for a Scratchie. So that is necessary. All of the other work is not necessary. So we've automated everything else. And so the next release of Scratchie, we even bring the supervisor the 3 that we would recommend. It's the recommendation engine. We bring the 3 and he presses one button for each of those awards, and then he goes about his day. So we know that supervisors have too much to do. Like, that's a supervisor's life. So we need to make the supervisor's life easier. So that's kind of the whole motive behind this is let's give those recommendations on a plate. So all the supervisor needs to do is to say, good, good, good. And now let's carry on with these other 2 phone calls I was on, So, yeah.
So you're automating the part of the process, and then you're allowing the supervisor to go, yep, good choice, good choice, good choice.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah. And meanwhile, the worker goes, oh, I've just been recognized for this. Great. That's awesome. And next time worker sees the supervisor, worker goes, thank you. That was, thanks for actually recognizing that. And importantly, the supervisor does remember when he did give those awards, and he goes, oh, no problem. When he gets thanked, he doesn't go, okay, I guess, it's like, no, you're welcome. That's fine.
Yeah. And as I said before, I really think safety needs the help, not to be the police department all the time.
That's right.
Or in my world, I'll say it, the oh shit department. Because too often that's what they are. They're the police with the big stick, and they're always threatening people.
Yeah.
I just think that's a terrible way to run a department and a business.
And many safety supervisors or many safety managers agree with you. They're like, we're kind of a bit over. The only tool we have is punishment. And what that it encourages some types of personalities to be the safety manager, which frankly is not the kind of personality that you'd want. So it does a lot of things. And then in the quick serve restaurants and space, it's like I said before, it's kind of gone away from safety. And so it's the supervisor that's always having to nag the crew and the workers to do things that are important, but they're just boring.
Yeah.
And in this time around, supervisor has another tool, is to say, hey, Josephine, awesome. Look at that tidy area. That super clean area. The second time I've seen that happen, I haven't had to ask you. Here, scan this, have a Scratchie. And so that happens.
Yeah, I just think that is a great way to be going about it. And nowadays, as I said, with the telematics, we're finding out a lot more about truck drivers' behavior. And we see, with these dash cams, we see the near misses now, we see the collisions. But it's still hard to recognize when a driver doesn't get into either one of those situations. So Scratchie is going to help.
Totally. That's exactly right. All the telematics, all that beautiful data comes through, and we deal with that data in a different way. That's essentially what we do.
Now, changing topics, just not quite changing topics, but you recently went to a Geotab conference, right?
I did, in Orlando.
Yeah.
Oh, it was massive. This Aussie comes out to Florida, and I just cannot believe the scale of things in the US. And yeah, it was amazing and so impressive. And, you know, it's a private company and I was just blown away. Yeah.
And right, just to blow our horns, it is a Canadian company
It is.
for that, right?
Yeah.
I forget how many countries, 20 some odd, I think.
Oh, at
It's,
least. Yeah.
it's a worldwide organization. So
Yeah.
congrats to Geotab for that, but they're in Australia. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the first company that I don't want to say partnered with, but because that's not true, but that you've integrated, I guess is the correct word.
Correct.
Scratchie platform. Now,
Yeah.
can you integrate with other companies?
We certainly can. Yeah. We're open API, which means we're open to integrate. And in fact, we're based on integration because what we're not is a safety platform. We're not anything. What we are is a rewards layer. So we can be added to these existing platforms, Safety Culture, Oracle Aconex, Procore, you know, any one of these, and any one that you can think of, we can add that rewards layer to whatever it is you use. So that's the other good thing is it's not learning a new system. You stay on your system. It just gets better, gets optimized because of the rewards layer.
James, I think that's a great place to leave it. So if I can kind of summarize, and then you can pop in and say, Chris, you forgot this point. Scratchie is a rewards optimization program, gamifying safety and giving out pats on the back.
That's it. That in a nutshell, that's it. It's getting that recognition happening for good work.
Right.
It's
So-
winning at work.
Yeah. I mean, God, I used to hate, I was a safety person. Well, I still am, I guess. And I hated all the time calling the drivers in, giving them written warnings, giving them, shit for stuff. And they already knew they did it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, that's right. They're already sort of chastising themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
But because of insurance and government regulations, I had to document that stuff and beat the person up. And I really didn't have a tool to say, hey, thanks, job well done.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. And so Scratchie, there's your contact information is in the show notes down below. So I think this is a great idea. And congrats for a carpenter coming up with a scathingly brilliant idea.
Thanks a lot, Chris. No, thanks for the conversation. It's look forward to staying in touch.
Great. Thanks so much, James. James, all the way from Australia, co-founder of Scratchie. Thanks so much for joining us on the show this week. And for you, our viewers, think about how you can gamify, make it a more rewarding experience for your drivers, because that's going to increase your retention. And we all know that retention is the best way to keep the good drivers. So James' contact info is in the show notes down below. Reach out to James. I think this is awesome. Test Scratchie. Chris Harris, Safety Dawg. See you next week.